we're going to kick off with a bit of a wrap up of last year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do our usual end of year wrap up, but it was quite an interesting year last year in the sense that we started with the big Omicron wave, and we were still sort of knee deep in I don't know what you would call it, the frantic sort of can we catch up for Christmas fever that was gripping the nation at the time. We had to get clearances to cross state borders and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to figure that that's where we were this time last year, and that's where we were. And the funny thing is that we are now at a point 12 months later where no one cares. It's all just gone out the window, and we're living with the virus. So I just find it funny, and it was a topic that we frequently came back to last year many times, and I just find it funny the progress of where we got to.
Oh, look, it's amazing that the world is the new normal now. It's certainly not like it used to be in 2019 and prior. It's a different place, but people certainly don't care about COVID anymore, and they didn't care about COVID in 2019 or 2018 or any time before that. So whatever the new normal is, and the world is a very different place, it's 2023.
Quite a few episodes we talked about last year dealt with Apple, as we normally do. I'm not sure where I'm currently feeling about them at the moment as we go into this year. I hope they have a better year than last year. Maybe it was the whole supply chain issue thing that let them stall on some of their product strategy. I don't know. I just found it odd that after all these years, last year was the first year where buying the previous year's model was a better value than the stuff that they released last year. Maybe with a couple of exceptions, but I just thought that was odd. And was it, bad strategy on their part, or just whether it was, like I said, supply chain impacts? Who knows? But we'll see what happens this year. There's talk of a headset coming. I still find that odd. I just don't. It's not very Apple-like putting like a big thing on your head. But who knows?
Well, the only thing I'll add to that is in 2022, I clocked up a year with the iPhone 13, and I'm very underwhelmed. Still.
Yeah. It's come to a boring place.
It has, and yet you've got the M1, which is a fantastic piece, or the M2 now. That range is fantastic, absolutely sensational piece of hardware.
I should say, just to close this minor story out, that now the online chatter is like shifted towards, what have the M series processors done for me lately? It wasn't enough that they were such a quantum leap forward 2 years ago, but because the M2 only had 15% improvement, it was a disappointment.
Well, tough times when you can't get excited about hardware that is amazing, and yet you still run around probably loving your iPhone, which I can't.
Absolutely. We also covered a bit of climate change and sustainability, population problems, battery tech. Then there's, other like science innovations like NASA hitting asteroids and successfully and all that sort of thing. It'll be, I think, something that we'll probably continue to talk about this year, because it's just not something that's going to be going away anytime soon because of the nature of the types of weather we've had in Australia in the last 12 months. I think it's become forefront of mind for a lot of people. I just hope that it doesn't disappear again, a bit like what happened in the 2000s when there was year after year after year of drought, and then climate change got onto everyone's radar. And then we started getting a few years of rain, and then it disappeared along with the change of government.
Well, yeah, exactly. But interestingly, I think if you look, with COVID and some of the global, ramifications of COVID, I think, the world is changing now for a whole variety of reasons. And I think we're starting actually to move very strongly to try and ameliorate climate change. So let's just hope that keeps going. I don't expect it to slow down, and certainly the pace is picking up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was a lot of encouraging signs that the market was starting to really jump into this now, as opposed to waiting for a government to pass a regulation.
That's right. That's right. But of course, prior to probably, March last year, there was a lot of cash around to invest in these things. Not so much anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to round out our 2022 topics, which neatly dovetails into today's topic anyway. It's got something. It's to do with say pop culture decline. We actually covered that a couple of times last year. The idea that movies in general aren't what they used to be. They're retreads or copies of older movies, and I singled out the Batman as a good example of that. Avatar 2 that's come out, I haven't seen it, and I already know that it's just the same experience as the first one, just 13 years later with some cooler images probably.
Do you know, has it been a box office success?
Of course it has. So we're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. James Cameron's already come out and said that he's going to be, devoting probably the rest of his career to it. Look, good luck to him, but I don't think it's anything new.
Jeez, he's so talented. Couldn't he make better movies?
But maybe he's trapped by the old franchise thing that's enveloped Hollywood now, which is you don't invest in new IP effectively. I guess he's lucky to have that he created that 13 years ago. Then we had, and there are other things too, like the Will Smith slap, which I think made airwaves for all the wrong reasons. But it kind of it's things like that, and then also just like our sort of narcissistic kind of influence in pop culture, where things have transitioned from like the celebrity to online interactions and influencing. So like it'll be interesting to see where the celebrity goes in that regard in the coming years, because there are people online now that have bigger followings than what a lot of celebrities do, and we've never heard of them, or no one's ever heard of them, but you can bet that there's 30 million people out there that have heard of them.